You're listening to 1069 Click FM, live in color.
At least one of the good things that I can say today is that Teddy Bridgewater already has his next couple of years figured out. He's going to go coach high school football at Miami Northwestern High School, I believe, is where he's going to be. So best of luck to him in Florida, where there's always something or someone that is actively trying to kill you. But the rest of us, we are here for Ass Talk this afternoon on 1069 Click FM. I'm your host, Jim B. Hello, Cordman and William. Anybody else who might be listening that isn't quite in chat yet. What this is just me hanging out for a little bit, talking over all and trying to talk through the many noxious clouds of sports prognostication that exist out there to try to find some nuggets of truth, which these days feels like it can be a little more difficult to do, seeing how journalism is being gutted in the name of AI, whatever the hell that is supposed to be. But we will try as best we can. Yeah. Carl Weathers. Not familiar with the name, but I am assuming that a quick Google should resolve who Logan is talking about. Oh, damn. NFL linebacker turned actor Carl Weathers. And what team did he play for? Oh, the Oakland Raiders. Okay. Did one season for them. Yeah. Oddly enough, Logan, I have still never seen that movie all the way through. So I know that's embarrassing. And the fact that I went to college in Philadelphia means that I'll probably be banned from the city for speaking that out loud. But, you know, I've reached that point in my life, but seriously. To Carl Weathers. So, start off, I think, where obviously all our minds have been in the England-India Test Cricket Series. The second test just started today, and India won the toss, decided to bat first, and they currently have 331 runs to their credit, and the inning's not over yet. They're still at bat. England ended up getting 6 wickets on the day for 91 overs, but yeah, India still has 4 more wickets to work with tomorrow, and one of their players, Yashasvi Jaiswal, he got 177 runs, and he's still up to bat. So he's having a fantastic day, and the rest of his team has just been like kicking in whenever they can, averaging about 20, 30 runs apiece. So it's a bonkers day for Jaiswal, but a good start for India on that first day of the second test. And also, I didn't know if any of you had seen this, but Washington is really getting rid of Eric Bieniemy. They are bringing in Dan Quinn to be the new head coach. And wow. Goodbye, Eric Bieniemy. I do not know what it is about Bieniemy that has seemingly eliminated him from getting, head coaching opportunities, but I feel like it's going to be a very long couple of years ahead for Washington Commanders fans. Um, Best of luck to you, and try not to let your heart get broken too much. Hmm. Damn. Well, good for the Huskers. Getting I'd say that's a pretty decent upset considering, Wisconsin is still having a very good season by all accounts. But I don't think Nebraska is nationally ranked. Uh, hey, good for you. Absolutely a wonderful job, even if you had to go to OT to do it. Hopefully, Wisconsin will have a bounce back game this weekend against Purdue. We're actually going to be live for that on Sunday, checking out men's basketball in the NCAA. So, if any of you are around and want to take that in, feel free to drop on by. No, they are not, but this has been an unexpected season. Ah, ah. Punching above your weight class this season. Okay, I understand. Great. Let's see, what else had I wanted to bring up? No, that was, that was a very obvious one. Is there anything that I missed over in NHL or a wild card? Well, not too much. It's still kind of the same teams at the top of the NHL divisions. The only real change around is that now Detroit has taken the last wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. So, hey, that rebuild for the Red Wings is going, I think, pretty decently. And then Vancouver is just atop the Pacific, laughing at us all for some reason. It's nuts. I mean, it's not to say that the NBA is any, more clear. I mean, if you were here for the stream last night, we watched the Lakers get a very unexpected, there's that word again, win over the top ranked in the East Boston Celtics. And mind you, this was the Lakers team that was sitting Anthony Davis and LeBron James. But apparently, that weirdly statistically worked in their favor for some reason. It was strange to find that out, but statistics can do so many things. They can tell so many stories, and they don't even have to be true sometimes. So, that is a good question. Oh, you are right. Apparently the Seattle Seahawks have hired a new coach, and his name is Mike McDonald, and he was the Ravens' defensive coordinator, apparently. Oh. Huh. Well then. That one is definitely news to me. I know very little about him, but well, yeah, I'll just say that I know very little about him and check him out on my own time. If anyone else has any thoughts or info they can share about him, I'm welcome to it, but nope, I can't fish one thing out of my brain about Mr. Mike McDonald. And that's about it in the other sports that I really wanted to cover right now. I'm sure the thing that most of you are here for is to hear my little post-mortem on the season for the Detroit Lions. I think we very vastly overachieved this season. I I saw the signings of people that we made, bringing in Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley, C, CJ Gardner Johnson, and it's like, oh, our our secondary could be improving. And Cam Sutton was okay, but then he got burned too many times by high end receivers. And yeah, the injury to Mosley, Gardner Johnson being out most of the season, it didn't help, but also the rest of the team that we had to step up, and as valiantly as they did step up, you know, well, I think it speaks a lot that in every recent article that I've seen about the Lions, which of course are now all about the draft, and I'm not even sure what pick we have in the draft, 29th, 30th, I think that sounds about right for where we finished. It just feels so weird to focus when it seems like we're going to be, how to be more strategic and creative because of where we are in the draft order. And I think that's going to be a big concern for next season. Every single article wants us to draft corners. Everybody's saying, oh, this is the corner that's going to help this person out of Toledo, this person out of Alabama Tech, or whatever. And I'm already trying to comb my way through those lists right now, and it feels like I am trying to read Greek. But I'm not upset that we lost. I am amazed that circumstances worked out the way that they did, that we were able to get a couple of home playoff games and win them. I had trepidation, I think, since the Ravens loss, because I've been able to keep my eye on how the Ravens have been doing that season, and it's like, so that is what the level of talent that we are going to have to face, and I'm not sure we can face it at this point. We would have to get a lot going in our favor for that to work out. Yeah, that's the thing that concerned me the most, True North, was, the Lions had been a pretty reliable tackling team. You know, even when QBs could pick apart our secondary, we would do our damn best to make sure that they would get very few yards after the catch. But that game with the 49ers, and I think specifically of the blitz by Melifonwu, that we'd seen him, come on that same play, but I feel like Mr. Purdy must have been watching the tape because he ended up ducking right out of it, and it seemed like they had been preparing for us and knew how to counter our tackling. So, hey, I'm not worried about the offense. We've got Montgomery and Gibbs and now somehow Sam Laporta. I am hoping that Brock Wright is going to be okay. That was what also gave me concern going into that game, because Brock Wright is like Mercedes Lewis was for the Packers. Mostly known within a lot of play schemes as a blocking tight end, but every once in a while could make a great catch right at an opportune moment and, help a lot of, and help out in that regard as well. So, yeah, I had a I had a sinking feeling when Brock Wright went down, and as good as Zach Ertz is, he was probably not going to be enough to replace everything that Brock could do. Oh yeah, not this is not to discount anything that the 49ers did. I thought it was going to end up being a very close score. We ended up, in fact, beating the 7-point spread. So here's to minor victories. But I think it's just in the way that it happened, where we ended up building this huge lead up in the first half and then a complete collapse in the second. And I thought, given the state of our defense, that we'd be able to make it a little more back and forth, trade the lead, but that's not how it turned out. I am relieved. I am relieved because the idea of having to put together a stream for the Super Bowl, that was just a level of pressure and preparedness that I did not have in me. I wasn't expecting the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl. I was just aiming for playoffs, but I knew I would have to try to go the extra mile and also know I did not have the time to do it. So I am relieved on that front. It means I can focus on other sports a little bit more in depth. And, you know, the college basketball tournament's going to be here before you know it. And we got a lot of teams to look out for between now and the beginning of March. So, even though the Lions are out of it now, I'm happy with the season that they had. I am excited to see who they bring in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you're right, True North. There's a lot of core. There's a strong core that this team's been building around for a while, and the Packers, in the same way, they're going to have to, build on this young core for next year. Plus, and I know this is not a pleasant thing to think about, but the benefit that Jordan Love had, I think, for this season is that he was very much a mystery, but now there's tape out on him. And how many of his strengths are now going to be countered by defensive planning from other coaches who know now what to expect from him now that they've seen him in action? So, it's not something that I say is guaranteed is going to be happening, but it's just keep an eye out for that. Second years for quarterbacks in the league, they can be rough. And yeah, that is a good. That is a very tight score. 2-point underdogs against the 49ers. Hmm. Uh, I think Cordman because everybody wants to imitate the winner. If they can't imitate it on their own, then they'll steal as many blood and organs from you until it feels like, yeah, we're technically the same person now. If the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers had lost to the 49ers last week in the same way, and Packers fans, I'm sorry, damn heart is covering, should be disappointed than if it was Love. Oh, okay. yeah, no, that there were a lot of wild cards with this team, and thankfully, it turns out that some good decision making and teaching had been done. So let's see what the dude can do next. It was like I told the guy who was working the drive-through, uh, when he saw my Lions mask, and he was like, "Oh man, you guys had a fun season, didn't you? Y'all were waiting a long time." And he said, "I'm a Packers fan. I know how long you guys have been waiting." And I was like, "Hey, that was one of my favorite parts of the season. In all honesty, was Jordan Love making everyone angry by knowing what he was doing, and the fact that the North is going to be fun next year." So I'm not too worried about whether or not I actually catch much of the Super Bowl, because I think it's going to be well, I wouldn't say a very rough go for the Chiefs, but they are going to have to lean hard on that defense. And the, you know, all words and issues about the Kansas City wide receiver room aside, really the person that the 49ers are going to have to stop is Patrick Mahomes. And the way that, the ways that we ended up getting limited, some by design, but others by the force of the defense, in that game against the 49ers, I think that they can do it. Oh, Nick Wright. Nick Wright, he is one of the nation's chief emitters of sports prognostication these days. Exactly, because everything he says afterwards is nonsense. But yeah, I think this arrangement of players that the Niners have right now might be their best chance to win a Super Bowl. And for Mr. Kyle Shanahan to finally shake off, all the past crap that they have gone through, all the heartbreak, all the times it was close but not close enough. hmm Well, True North, that can be true for any of us. Remember, Aaron Rodgers was out 4 snaps into the season next year, and I don't I don't mean to be scary or threatening when I say this, but that's the kind of crap that can happen to any player at any week. And we saw it. We saw it happen last night. One of the Lakers players got injured on a non-contact play just going to save a ball from going out of bounds. Yeah, yeah, True North. We saw that Cowboys. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, uh, but uh, they did just lose their defensive coordinator. Best of luck. And Jerry Jones is not extending Dak Prescott. What a world we live in. Oh, that that sounds about right. Honestly, that sounds about right. Meanwhile, in the Orioles Brewers trade last night, Baltimore it fully gets Corbin Burns. Milwaukee receives Joey Ortiz, DL Hall, and the 34th pick in the 2024 draft. Yeah. See, Jared Vanderbilt, yeah, out several weeks with a foot injury. the kind of shit that can happen, and it can completely wreck a team season because of it. So, I would I would say after the season, another positive that I can take away as a Lions fan. And yeah, feel free to go on the whole Dan Gamble thing. He takes too many chances, whatnot. This is still the first uh, coaching group, player group, and, you know, front office combination that has given us the impression that these guys know what they're doing and are actively trying to build a great team and have the ownership behind them. Yeah, yeah. The thing that they never mention about that phrase, MKI, is that very often people who don't live by the sword will die by the sword. So, anywho, is there anything else that I had wanted to mention? Not particularly. I mean, the Lions are already busy. They signed a whole bunch of practice squad players to reserve/future contracts. I don't know who any of them are, and I'm not gonna do live searches, you know, explaining them to you. Just, uh, just know that Detroit is already in off-season mode, and I wish all the Lions fans a good off-season mode as well. And now, Mr. Cordman and all who have assembled the awful, awful things that I have to say about this upcoming Super Bowl. Ooh, NHL players returning in 2026 Olympics. Good for them. Anyway, um, I call myself the least knowledgeable sports YouTuber for a very good reason. Um, I try to limit my intake of sports media because I know a lot of it can have spin behind it. And it's hard to differentiate the spin, separate that from where the writers live and what team they write for and all that such. So it's even more difficult when the world of celebrity ends up edging into that space. I'm sure Cowboys fans, are still haunted by Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson, and as well as Aaron Rodgers and his ever rotating, um, whatever. Oh, Shailene. This Taylor Swift thing, I knew that I was going to have to ignore a lot of sports media this season because that was going to be the only thing that they would focus on. I mean, even in one of my news blogs that I follow, they cropped up a story noting that the Japanese embassy announced that arrangements had been made so that Taylor Swift would be able to exit the country somehow in the midst of a tour that she's doing in the area to get to America for the Super Bowl. And I know that you all have probably been through the inundation of her and the infinite clips of her cheering in the box, and you're probably sick of it. I I have not had an opportunity to be sick of it because, like I said, I haven't watched a lot of it. I'm just saying that some of the discourse about Miss Swift getting intertwined in football like this, it has gotten ugly. It has gotten very ugly. Assigning motives to what may be just the ins and outs of having a relationship in the public eye, like she unfortunately does almost all the time. But then I hear people assigning political motives to it and making it MK Ultra level conspiracy shit that is going on, and people saying that they're going to root for Taylor Swift. Well, actually, they're going to root against Taylor Swift by rooting for the 49ers. And as cute as it may be to look at it as like, yeah, we're doing this because we hate her music, there's more people who are doing it just because she is a woman. And she gets this shit all for showing up to watch a damn football game. Women already have a hard enough time, enjoying sports like American football and participating in spaces like this because of the constant shit that they have to deal with from men, being accused of not being real fans, having to do quizzes on stats and histories and players just to prove that they actually belong and shit like that. And the ugly terms that these people are veering into when talking about Taylor Swift gives me pause. All the pause in the world. Because there are reasons to not like Taylor Swift. I mean, I have no problem freely admitting that I'm not a fan of her music. I don't disrespect, people who are fans of her music. It, registers something in them, but I personally don't like her because she uses her lawyers to basically wield IP as a cudgel. And for that reason, I never play any of her songs on the stupid streaming show. But I am not going to be a person who is going to stand up here and try to shout down, denigrate, and electronically spit on a woman just for showing up to watch a goddamn football game. Yeah. And that's the point, True North. That's the media. Yeah. I know it feels like an inescapable thing to avoid the media, but there are honestly ways to do it, and, taking the time to see through the spin is a tough thing at first, but it is just really a matter of paying attention to words and when people choose to use them. And the words people have been choosing to use Taylor Swift in regards to her relationship with Travis Kelce, well, my thought is this. People managed to take a 6-foot-tall plus football hero dude playing on a Midwest football team, essentially scoring a relationship with a blue-eyed blonde-haired singer, and think it is the worst thing to happen to America. So, what I've been trying to say to you, Cornman, is that I feel like you're going to get a lot of people on your side who are going to be cheering for the 49ers, but just know that they're not all really on your side. That it's just an easy way for them to attack somebody. And I need you to be on the lookout for that. Because that is something that people are frighteningly willingly to do. I mean, you all must have heard about the 17-year-old out in California who got arrested for being essentially a swatter for hire. He would call in phony shooting incidents in order to get SWAT teams sent over to people's places in order to severely disrupt their lives and or kill them. He would do it for hospitals, private residences, schools. Oh. True North, if Travis was black, oh, they wouldn't even have to get that friggin' creative or desperate. There would be just a number of tropes that they would fall back upon. I would imagine the word thuggish would appear on a number of people's lips all of a sudden. And, it feels sad that I have to bring this up and, drive the point home over and over again, but the way we treat each other and the way that we speak to each other in these odd little circles matters. Yeah, it is very weird, but hey, it seems like something that he would definitely want to do, MKI. We like to think that all sports fans are essentially the same because very often they're trying to appeal to a select demographic, and not many people are able to, sometimes afford to keep up with sports because if you can't get it easily within your house, you don't have access to a lot of streaming services, you have to go to, extreme means or sail the seven seas. And that can cut out a lot of people for those of us who don't feel brave enough to test those waters. But there are so many different shades of folks. Folks who are mentally ill, folks who are disabled, folks whose, little gender indicator on their driver's license may not indicate who they want to be. And most of the time, fans like that are having to sit back and watch y'all unload with the most vile language that you possibly can on people being retards or being faggots or being whatever you think is a distasteful way to be other than the standard that which you currently are. And when stories come up about the NFL worrying about losing audience, I say, well, they could get more of an audience, but I'm not sure that the gatekeepers would welcome it. Anyway, that is all the thoughts that I have for today here on Another Stupid Sports Show. Thank you for sitting through this. I will see you tomorrow for Iowa versus Maryland NCAA women's basketball. There'll be much more upbeat and less serious then, I promise. I'm Jim B. You're on 1069 Click FM. Thanks for checking us out. Good night, Milwaukee, wherever you are.